I'm pretty sure by this point you all have figured out this is not your normal narc abuse channel. And that's because I come at this from a certain direction. See, I had to deal with two narcissists, and I had to eventually clown them. I had to learn how to play their game. I had to learn how to manipulate them. I had to learn how to counter-narc the narc. I have an absolute disdain for these people. They're not people. They're demons in human skin suits. These are goblins. These are people that live in lies and delusion, try and force their delusion on you, hate everybody else because they hate themselves, and then want to destroy your life because they're crap. These are the absolute worst dregs on the planet. So let me clue you in on a few ways on how to deal with these Hoover and hobgoblins. Eventually, you're going to get to a point in your healing when you're healed. When you look back and you're like, oh my God, what did I put up with? And then you get over that. But the game still goes on for the narc, especially if they're very manic and very stalkish. You could decide to either go no contact and just never deal with it again and just block and swat away that toxic gnat, which is perfectly healthy for you to do because they're not going to stop stalking. They're manic about their stalking. They're grandiose. They always compare themselves to everything and everyone else, and everything is about them. Or you can make the decision to clown them. You can make the decision, if you make content like myself, whenever those goblins come back around, you can monetize that ass, make money off of them, clown them. This is actually the goblin that came after me. He uses the tag, I bet you won't, in all of his stuff. Like that's his tag, right? I bet you won't, because he's a tough guy. That picture that he uses is from like 20 years ago when he was healthy. Trust me, nowadays he's all methed out and skinny and cracked out and freaking, he looks awful. He would never use a picture from himself today. He also has a huge insecurity with being bisexual. The narcissist that triangulated me with him pegs him in the butt. That's why I talk a lot about narcs putting things at their butt, because I think it's funny, and thank you to everybody out there who's actually confirmed that this is a thing. So she would devalue him during their ghosting stages by telling everyone, at parties, walking around thrusting and going, I'm going to go home and peg so-and-so. She would clown the crap out of him with this. So he has a huge insecurity about it. And when the grand discard finally happened and he was drawn to my house and I got to kick his ass after watching him beat her up, because he's a real man. He's a real man who beats up women. One of the things that he was really upset about while he was stalking around out front like a freaking grown toddler having a temper tantrum, throwing rocks and shit, was he kept saying F-A-G-G-O-T. I've mentioned this before, but because it got so ingrained in his head. Remember, narcissists are manic. Everything's about them. They're grandiose. They have huge insecurities. And when you deal with these goblins, like when you clown them, when you come after them, you circumvent that false ego, that false front they put up that you know is fake, and you go straight for the inner child. So my last video on Instagram was because this dude tried to Hoover me again. He tries to intimidate because he's a tough guy by liking your stuff and unliking it. like I'm watching you. I know I'm watching you. You're scared, right? No, I'm not scared. So I do what I do. I'm the narc slayer. I'm going to monetize that ass. I'm going to make fun of you. I'm going to clown you. Yes, this is going to give the narcissist negative fuel, but think about how much they're like hating themselves. And it also creates a problem between him and her. See, when I do this, it makes his butthole clench right up because he's a tough guy. And then he's got to threaten the woman and be intimidating and do whatever it is that those two narcs do when they're not destroying someone else's life, and keeps narc X out of my life. This is actually an opportunity for me. This is threefold. I get to protect myself. I get to clown this goblin that I was compared to, this dude that is of low worth, that is not on my level. I get to have a little fun because these people went after my life and tried to destroy me and smear campaign me and talk trash like for years and brought in other YouTubers and flying monkeys and friends. So this is my opportunity to have fun with the narc. If you're over on Instagram, that's my last video, is how to clown that type of narc. You go after all of their insecurities, everything that triggers them, because they will never heal. It's not about healing. It's about perpetuating their sickness. It's about perpetuating drama. And if they're the type that just can't stop stalking you and can't stop coming around, use it to your advantage. Use it as an advantage to just play with the narc. Imagine the satisfaction, brothers and sisters, that you will have when you realize that you have always been in a position of power. You have always been more powerful than them. This is why narcs target you, because you are a stronger, better person than them. But you also get to step on the same person who destroyed your life or attempted to destroy your life. Clowning narcs, when you get into a position of self-control and self-power, when you know your worth, when you know your strength, and you understand what you're dealing with, is fun. It is hilarious. Of course, don't do this, ladies, if you're dealing with a real psycho narc. Remember that male narcs abuse women. They abuse you because they're tough guys, okay? And they will take that to any length. If you're dealing with a psychopathic narc, there's different ways you got to deal with it. Sometimes you got to go to the law. But whatever you do, protect yourself. Be good to yourself. Be good to each other, and never again suffer these fools. On today's episode of FD's Narcs, let's talk about the emotional irregularity of a grown toddler, a giant 4-year-old stomping his feet, an emotionally unregulated full-grown adult who should be wearing a diaper, acting like a preteen at a Tay-Tay concert. I understand when we first see this behavior, it's very scary. All right, there's this adult that is acting like they are a child. They are acting because you called them out, because you're not believing their lies, because they need to make an excuse to go out and cheat or go put something up their butt at the truck stop. Or God forbid, you threatened to leave. You had boundaries. You're going to step out. You decided to clean up your things from the Hell Clowns freaking funhouse and get the hell out. But no, oh no, not this narcissist, not this person who thinks that they're super powerful. Not this person who thinks that they can overcome anything. Their grandiosity is better than you. That knows they're lying and convinces themselves that lies are the truth. And these people have made you so crazy with their stupidity and nuts and crazy emotions that you feel like SpongeBob talking to a demon-possessed Patrick. This person who gave you sob stories and lied to you before they broke down into crying in tears because you're leaving, Mommy abandoned me too, and I'm the daddy. Any excuse to keep you locked in because their possibly broken inner child is clutching onto a dirty blankie and a baba full of arsenic, crying without any attention whatsoever, and you need to be mom or you need to be dad. Understand, narcissists are like sad clowns. They really are. They put on an act. It's a circus. And if these manginas or made for the streets daddy issues have a problem with it, well, they'll recruit other people. They'll go out and they'll find every other intellectually defunct, mentally ill, toxic person in the area who has a very low emotional intelligence to come and smear you, to come at you from different directions. It's like dealing with a cluster B collection of Bebe's kids, triangulating you like a tripod of trash. Listen, if you're still in it, you gotta pick yourself up. You need to think about the last time that grown toddler was smashing his hands up against the wall, all right? And I mean, I understand it's a traumatic experience, but look back at this crazy person, all right? That dude is not gonna change. That woman is not gonna change. These are nuts people. And when you get away from them, clown them. Look at them as what they are. Whenever you think about that narc X, you think of them as being 2 feet tall because they are little freaking children. They never emotionally developed. They did not age well. And it is not your responsibility to raise a freaking adult. Look at them, down at them, because they are lesser than. They treated you like an object or a thing. They abuse you with their crazy emotional freaking insecurities and projected all of their craziness on you. They don't care about you. Do not respect. Disrespectful. Be good to yourself. Be good to each other. And never again suffer that fool. You may not want to accept or realize this right now, but there were things you needed to learn in life. That included dealing with a hoovering hobgoblin, dealing with a liar, manipulator, a narcissist. There's a reason that demon came into your life. May have been unresolved issues when you were a kid. Might have been lessons that you never learned. You had a healthy upbringing, you just didn't learn certain things about yourself, about the world, and about others. You may not have ever been tested on that level, brought to the brink, brought to the point of destruction, betrayed, whatever the case is. Those lessons were placed in your life by God for a reason. And it wasn't his fault or her fault, all right? That Hoover and Hobgoblin, that demon, does what they do because they choose to do what they do. But everything that you've overcome, everything you've experienced, everything that you have learned about yourself, about the world, and dealing with someone at that level of toxicity made you stronger or will make you stronger than you have ever been before in your life. And I want you to take that experience and I want you to pole vault that into prosperity. Apply those lessons about yourself and about the world and turn them into something good. Transmute that energy. Remember all the depression, remember all the anger and all the betrayal, and I want you to turn that into something beautiful because that's your gift. You are a survivor and thriver of one of the worst personality types in this world. It is your job now to pay it forward to others, to teach them, to enlighten them, and to be productive and be the best version of yourself. My love to you. Be good to each other and suffer no fools. It is not your job to fix other people. It's not your job. It is not up to you to endure abuse, to take shit, to take crazy behaviors from someone who refuses to go and get help, and refuses to go to a therapist, go to a life coach, go to somebody, just somebody who refuses to internalize and work on themselves. As I've been doing this content, I have seen people throw me messages and like DMs and stuff that are talking about not all narcissists are bad, which is bullshit. All narcissists are bad. And trying to excuse those behaviors and also throwing at me like anxious avoidant stuff and sociopath stuff. And listen, I understand that compassionate people, right, are targeted by these types. They're targeted. Let me be succinct about this. Toxic behaviors is toxic behaviors. The reason a narcissist or another type of toxic person, unhealed person, came to you is because you forgave, you gave, you supported, you did all these, you took their abuse. You did all these good things for them and you took their abuse, and they took advantage of that because they're unhealed. It does not matter what their condition is, what their type of toxicity is, whatever is messed up in their head. It is not up to you to heal them. You are wasting your energies by trying to heal someone who does not want to heal. It doesn't matter what their conditions are. Don't have time for it. Progress yourself. When you see a friend or a friend group, a potential lover, somebody who's trying to get with you, if they're toxic, you have no time for it, okay? Only have time for healthy people, good quality people in your life. All right, that avoidant or that borderline or that, whatever the hell they are, they might care. They might have a level of caring. They might not necessarily be, crap people, but they have work that they have to do on themselves. They need to do that. And listen, just because you worked on your issues in your life does not mean it is your job to fix someone else. Compassion's great. Give it to someone who deserves it. Give your time and attention instead of a narcissist. One of the things that kills me is that the whole idea of nice guys or good guys finish last. And it's kind of reinforced by the fact that you see these, men and women running to like narcissists and toxic people and like staying with them and remaining trauma bonded because they can heal them or they can fix them or whatever the case is. You can't. You can't. And it makes good men and women out here who are looking for a potential partner feel like crap because you give everything to these toxic, evil people. And we're left out in the cold. So stop the cycle of that. And it's up to us. We're only responsible for ourselves. You have to stop the cycle in that. You have to. And that means creating strong boundaries, recognizing your worth, loving yourself, being a friend to yourself, and only giving your time, only giving compassion or charity, only helping someone who's going through a rough time, who's actually trying to fix themselves. There is no excuse for being a toxic person. There is no excuse for abuse. There's no excuse for ghosting somebody. There's no excuse for letting your fears or your anxieties rule your head and then acting out in toxic or abusive ways in a relationship. There's no excuse for it. I don't care what your condition is. Go to therapy. Go heal yourself. We should not have time for these types. I know this is kind of cold-hearted, but listen, we empaths, we people out here who care about others, that you need to defend yourself. You need to be responsible with your energy, work on you, and stop trying to heal these toxic people. Be good to yourselves, be good to each other, and never again suffer any type of fool.